In this lesson we will begin constructing the mouth. Select polyplane, rotate an X by 90, change the subdivision width and subdivision height to 1. Move the plane up to match the reference image. Translate and see in the side view. Select the verts, press and hold X to snap to the grid. Position the verts to match the reference image. Now select the edge and translate it back in the side view. Proceed to do the same in the front view. Scale the edge uniformly to get a tapered look. Now, use the Insert Edge tool to add shape. Select the edge, and use the Scale tool to conform to the reference image. With the split polygon selected, we will add further detail. Start in one corner, and make your way to the other corner. Once done, press Enter to complete the action. Select the Split Poly tool again, press G to select the previous tool, and continue to make your way to each corner. With the Split Polygon tool selected, split the newly created edge, again making your way to the corner. Just like before, split the created edge. You should now be left with a border. Select the verts and move them down to match the reference image. Going around, one vert at a time and match the reference. In the side view, select the verts and translate them to match the corner of the mouth. Great, with that done, select the three faces and delete them. With the faces deleted, we now have the opening for the mouth. However, we now need to tweak the verts. With the verts selected, go to the top of the menu bar and type in the value 0 and X. This snaps any verts or edges to the center of the grid. Selecting the verts, go into the side view and use the Scale tool to straighten them. Select the bottom group of verts and translate them back. Select the verts and adjust accordingly, making sure you stay close to the reference. Select the bottom remaining verts, and again translate them back inside view, making tweaks where necessary. Always make sure you inspect the mesh in the perspective view, and not just rely on orthographic views. While in perspective view, select the top two verts and translate them forward, rounding out the form. Do the same for the bottom verts. Excellent, now we have the basic mouth set up. Tweak the verts, trying to get as close to the reference as possible. Now that we have the basic shape done, let's add some more geometry. Select the Insert Edge tool, click and drag to add an edge loop. Be sure to add the edge loop in the middle. With the edges selected, translate them to round out the form. Whenever you add edge loops, the existing geometry may need tweaking. Select the top and bottom verts, and translate them back to further round out the form. Select the outer group of verts and begin to align them to the reference image. Go into perspective view, and inspect the mesh, making sure everything is neat. Make tweaks where necessary. Add another edge, select the Insert Edge tool and cut vertically. Do the same for the bottom faces too. Select the top and bottom set of verts, and translate them back to round out the form, just like we did previously. Add another edge. Make appropriate tweaks where necessary. With the tweaks done, add another edge. Something to note, when adding edges, make sure the top and bottom edge are opposite each other. With the inclusion of the new edges, tweak the verts, Switch to perspective view and inspect the mesh. Select the top set of verts, and translate them forward, trying to achieve roundness. Proceed to do the same with the bottom verts. At another edge, proceed to cut the top and bottom faces. Adjust the verts making sure they match the reference image. Select the middle set of verts and use the scale tool to straighten them out. Another thing to point out is make sure the topology is evenly spaced out. Adjust the verts to ensure this. In perspective view you can see that we need to make further adjustments. Let's proceed to make them. Inside view adjust the verts, Making sure everything is evenly spaced, we make these adjustments when the mesh is at its lowest division, as it's easier for adjustments. Now let's add another edge loop. With the edges selected, translate them forward, rounding out the form. Let's add the third edge loop, again. Translating the edges forward. Just like we've been doing, select and adjust the verts to match up to the reference. Switch to front view and do the same. Now, space out the topology, so everything is even. Add another edge, with the edges selected, translate them, rounding the form. Just like before, we must adjust the verts. In perspective view you can see that we need to make adjustments to the verts. Make your way around and translate them, trying to achieve neat edge flow and topology. This is perhaps the more laborious part of modeling, but is essential. With the mesh selected, press D to activate the pivot point, press and hold V to snap to the top verts. Press Ctrl D to duplicate, and in the channel box scale in x-1, to flip it. Adjust the verts, let's translate them in order to round them out. We need to fix these verts here. It's absolutely crucial to inspect the mesh from all angles, to see if there is any awkwardness to the flow of polygons. Soften the normals to get a less faceted look to the mesh. An excellent tool in Maya is the Sculpt Geometry tool. When Smooth is activated, the surface is automatically smoothed for every brush stroke. First select the geometry, then the Sculpt Geometry tool. Pressing and holding B allows you to change the brush size. Having finished using the Sculpt Geometry tool, let's make some more tweaks to the verts. Switch to side view, and adjust the verts matching them to the reference image. Now move the verts, to create the padding around the corner of the mouth. We're trying to create that mess of padding at the corner of the mouth. Translate the verts forward, aim for a rounded look. Pressing 3 allows you to switch to smooth preview. Looking at the mesh from the side, you can see the look we're aiming for. Work on getting a rounded look near the corner of the mouth by adjusting the vert. We've achieved the look we wanted. Now delete the history to keep the scene clean. Duplicate the mesh, to see what it looks like as a whole. Bring back the nose, to see everything together. Great, it's matching up pretty nicely. Let's make the final adjustments to the mouth. Delete half of the mesh, and move the verts of the mouth cavity. Make your way around, and match up the verts to the reference. Now that we have everything the way we want it, let's take another look at it. Excellent job, see you in the next lesson.